Hi, I'm Harshit Desai. I'm a serial entrepreneur and a digital strategist. This is my second avatar as an entrepreneur. I had one between 2005 to 2010 uh, until about 2012 selling a user experience consulting firm. This is my second avatar since last couple of years.
How do you feel about TiECON 2022?
I think this TiECON Chennai 2022 has been organized really well, executed quite flawlessly. Ranga, Akhila, and the entire team kind of make sure that the curation of all the speakers, in fact, the larger theme also around resilience has come out really well, looking at the current tough times. So I think overall the whole event came out really well, and the turnout of people was also fantastic. So I really liked it.
A moment in your life which defines resilience in character?
So I think it dates back to 2008 when we were 300 plus people company, and there was quite a lot of financial turmoil happening across the globe, and we had to make sure that we let go of quite a lot of people. That was a time when we had to shrink down from 350 plus all the way till about 17 odd people. And that was a tough time for me as a first time entrepreneur to face, make people sit down, do a session with them, asking them to let go. So I think from there, what we went on to build till about 2012 in terms of resurrecting the company, I think that was the time which I can reflect back and resonates me very well with the resilience world for me at least.
What moment in your life defines success?
I think success honestly is a very transient and interstitial thing, right? I mean, at different points in time for different people, it varies. Sometimes it ends up being the size of the company, sometimes it ends up being the headcount in the company, sometimes profitability, sometimes when you are an entrepreneur, that wishful thinking around exit ends up being success. So I think it varies. I wouldn't want to restrict it to one specific thing, so to say. But I think in general, if the larger feeling which you have around you being able to give back to society and you being satisfied or contented about what you did to the fullest, I think those should be two measures for you to define success rather than some of these parameters which are worldly, so to say.
What would be your advice to youngsters on time management and work-life balance?
So honestly, I tend to have a little bit of skewed view, and that's again my personal view. I think the work-life balance over last few years has been hyped a little bit more, right? I think every time we talk about work-life balance, people take undue advantage of it, of emphasizing more on the life bit and less on the work. But if you look at the way the entire world has been moving in terms of new ventures which are coming up, competitions if you are a startup entrepreneur, I think that demands more and more of work. So I think I would want to focus more from dedication of work standpoint rather than number of hours as a work-life balance is one bit. And on time management, I think it is little of a misnomer, so to say, right? I think people who know how to manage time well are the ones who already do it well. People who can't manage it well, I think they know it. The only thing is they fail to implement what they think they are not doing well. So I think time management, all of us have same 24 hours, right? So it is more about the implementation. Everyone knows that they might be wasting time.
What would be your advice to young entrepreneurs these days? What quality do you think they should add, or what quality do you think we can take from them probably?
One of the things I think young entrepreneurs have now is being very straightforward, right? They don't have layers, they don't have unnecessary niceties. which they layer when they talk to people and all that. They're pretty straightforward. I think that's one good quality if I were to compare to entrepreneurs 15 years back. The second thing I think, the clarity of what they want to do, right? I think, and some of this is also a function of how things have become more explorable, right? They know what exact thing they would want to do in a specific industry, in a specific avenue. And all of that has been possible by virtue of so much information being handy and all of that, right? Earlier, people used to explore a few things, try out a specific industry. People used to move industries also. Now, in fact, people know what in the industry, what's a vertical and a horizontal where they would want to operate. So I think those are the two main things which I think the new age entrepreneurs know and have the clarity of what they want to be and in what space they want to have their venture. So I think these are the two main things which I see are very peculiar of new age entrepreneurs.
So what quality of yours would you credit your success to now if you look back?
I think given the theme is that of resilience, I would definitely want to stay away from it because that's given, right? I mean, resilience goes without saying. But I think another thing which I think is very crucial is the humane or the social aspect of a person, right? If you are able to connect with someone on the other side and understand their experiences, understand and create some bit of empathy, as they call it, right, towards others. I think that being empathetic is one virtue which I think is super underrated as a quality. People tend to think being empathetic would mean having a large soft corner, but that's necessarily not the case. I think empathetic can be a very, very core value for entrepreneurs to know about others.
A moment or some inspirational moment from someone who you were with, which motivates you all the time.
One of the things, again, and to the clarity of purpose, right? I think one of the things which is very, very important for entrepreneurs is to have that singular clarity or focus, if you want to call it, right? And when you have that, it shows. So for me, I remember my college days and going to IIT Bombay Tech Fest, and those were the years when we had just about done our nuclear test for the first time, right? And we had our beloved Bharat Ratna APJ Abdul Kalam as one of the speakers, and a packed hall of 900 odd people. And after an hour of technical conversations around nuclear tests and all of that, one guy stood up and he told, "Sir, while you are talking of so many things, in India still people sleep hungry. How do you define or justify doing a nuclear test to poverty being there in India? Do you think it was required?" And Dr. APJ, as he was and the clarity he had, right, being such a technical guy, he said that we have two neighbors. That answers your question, right? So having that large clarity about why you are doing what you are doing, right, is so very important. And some of these guys who have that clarity chalked out very well for them, they will tell you everything and still not tell you for you to figure out things. So that's how
a fan moment.
grand personalities are. I think they will make you learn it rather than they're trying to enforce their teaching on you. So I think that was something which kind of shook me up and a big fanboy moment.
What do you do to motivate yourself when you're down?
I can't kind of quickly move from one state of mind to another by just thinking about it. I think the muscle memory does it. So I do long runs and I do long treks. So every once in a while when I'm down, I time it. I think a couple of years back, just before COVID, I did a peak which was a 20,000 feet peak in Nepal. For me to just forget everything else and kind of have absolute radio silence in mind kind of thing, and then when you have nothingness in front of you, then you realize what are you here for kind of thing, right?
Correct.
And
That
that
was
soul
a-
searching can come in
Great.
handy when all the pain is what is there. So I think pain, I think a physical pain is something which I think helps me align back
Amazing.
to come back from any mental down state. So